Interior crocodile.
All right, here we go.
I drive a Chevrolet movie
Adam
theater.
Dole in a second.
Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater.
I will get off TikTok for a little while so we can do this.
What a sacrifice you're making.
He is in the house. He's got whatever dog that is. You named that the president's son?
Yeah, making the name great again.
Baron?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
The tweet is
really,
up, I think.
I'm trying to retweet it right now.
Your audio sounds muffled tonight. I'm not sure why.
Does
Different.
it?
That sounds all right.
I think he's messing with the chords too. Look.
Oh my God.
Do you see yourself, buddy? Thank you. He hasn't barked at all. What are you talking about? He's very calm. Calm.
So as we say every day, between the end of the show and the late night happy hour, a bunch of stuff breaks. Doesn't seem like it should, but there's some developing stories we need to get to, some stories we can follow up on. And, of course, we have to catch you up on what we've been doing the last 4 hours. So I saw this tweet a couple minutes ago, and I want to get your impression of this one.
It's never a good sign.
Oh, at Fox 5 Vegas tweeted out, if you believe a business has reopened without proper health, safety, or social distancing measures, here's how you can report them to the appropriate agency. It's got as many comments as I've seen on any Fox 5 tweet recently. And people are flipping out.
About the tattletale culture?
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Bunch of Karens.
Well, yeah, Karens are the one who would snitch, but the problem is the people complaining are the original Karens.
True.
So it's
Yeah.
Karen on Karen attack.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we were headed in that direction as a society, right? I mean, isn't that where we've always been going? To the snitches telling on the snitches who then get mad at the snitches, and then it's just back and forth all the time?
Yep. Hey, let me do something here for a second. I forgot I wanted to do this. So I'm rolling this tonight on YouTube.
Okay.
To try it. So let me make sure I can find this. And I want you to set up the next story here. All right. So what have you seen tonight from California? And we'll get to the LA County stuff about stay in place, maybe for the next 3 months. Tell people what's going on right now with the state system of schools in California.
Well, it looks like they've essentially decided that the 2020 fall semester is going to be online at all California state schools. I actually just got a note that they've already shut down the D2 sports programs. Some of the California conferences. It looks like JC is kind of next. I don't think it's that long until we hear some kind of word about Division I sports in California. Like, it just seems like we're heading in that direction. And, I saw some people angry, like, why would you announce this in May? You still have time. Well, there is still a lot that you have to kind of work out, too. I mean, you have to potentially you have to allow kids to transfer if they want to. There's a lot of things that you have to try to get settled between now and then. So it's not that early to make this decision. You have to start making these kind of decisions if that's going to be the case.
Right. So what does this mean? I mean, think about all for football. What does this mean for football?
Well, I mean, I've talked to enough people in college sports that have told me without fans at games, there can be no college football. It just doesn't exist. You can't do it. Like, while the NFL can, because such a little amount of their revenue comes from actual people in the stands, like 15%. College football is at like 70, 80%. And that's such a big part of what drives college programs in general. So I just don't think you could do it. So if you don't have students, it's pretty tough to imagine that you're going to have fans, right? I mean, I think there's a pretty strong correlation there. So then all of a sudden, you're kind of looking at the fact that California public schools will not be participating in football this year. I mean, it's not decided yet. It's not set, but it seems like we're heading in that direction. And I think people should be...
I was going to say, is there any way that students could all be doing online, including football players, and they would allow the football players to actually play out a season? Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, maybe, but okay, now you have no students at your school, so no students are attending games, right? Are you going to have fans if students can't be there? And students aren't on campus at all? I mean, I know that, we're used to UNLV where students don't really go to the games, but there's a pretty strong, portion of your fan base that's students at a lot of these schools.
Right.
And if they're not on campus, I don't think they're going to the games.
This is crazy, but you're right. The first reaction I saw from a lot of people is like, why are they deciding so early? I mean, you have to put a lot of things into place to get this to work. So if they know what direction they're going in. So we're talking about schools like for UNLV related sports. We're talking about on the state side, San Diego State, Fresno State, San Jose State. Who am I missing? Obviously, there's other schools like, Fullerton State and CSUN.
Right.
So I think there's 23 state universities in the California system. And then there's obviously the university system. And the other part of the story is they're likely to do online, and that would affect UCLA, Cal, and schools like that.
Right.
Which, by the way, UNLV's football schedule includes Cal. I'll have to look at the rest of the schedule. I know San Jose State for sure.
That's the opener at Allegiant, right?
Yep.
So that's in doubt, I would have to think. Maybe they can move La Tech back in. I don't know. By the way, not one Yelp. Not one Yap or Yelp or anything.
What do you mean?
From the dog. You said they just yap all the time. Nothing.
Yeah, that dog's pretty well behaved.
Yeah.
Let me bring in one of my cats.
I'll probably be allergic through the phone.
So who's got questions about how this affects college sports? Because, Adam, this is what you and I talked about. You said you had a good snitch on this about college football and that many of the big conferences were trying to push for a February start to the college football season. And you said you were told there was one holdout conference. We've seen the SEC go balls to the wall now. They're like, hey, we're going to all be back in. We're playing. And now we got to start considering if the SEC and the ACC have students at their schools and they're going to play football, what the hell does the Pac-12 do? Because now we've got Oregon and California as a state or as states saying, hey, students might not be there. I don't know what that means. Well, certainly there's no fans at games early on, if maybe for the whole season. But what does that do for college football? How do you Pac-12 is just going to be ignored?
Well, I'm also interested, Stephen, don't we have some sort of coalition with California and Oregon? I mean, aren't we the Western State Alliance or whatever we're calling ourselves? And aren't we going to kind of go along with the same things?
Doesn't it seem like Sisolak's already broken from the alliance if places like County are talking about a 3-month shutdown all the way until August and Sisolak's opening things up?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we are kind of breaking a little bit from that. But I don't think it's that out of the realm of possibility that UNLV follows suit in the same, with the same decisions.
I've heard UNLV has a pretty detailed plan and that they could be ready to go pretty soon.
With kids in school? On campus?
Yes.
Just kind of surprising.
Just rumors, yeah. Just rumors.
Well, what will the next AD think about that?
Well, I mean, it's not an AD decision, obviously.
I know, I'm kidding. Yeah. I mean, I just think it's what we keep hearing from people is, why are these decisions being made? Why are you talking about this? When I wrote that story about what would it look like at Allegiant Stadium if the Raiders are here, there's no fans, what was the biggest feedback I got of, why would you even say this? It's not even a possibility. They're not thinking about that. It's so far away. Yeah, you got to start thinking about these things. You have to start considering these possibilities. Nobody's saying this is happening. Nobody's saying it's a sure thing. Nobody knows what this whole world's going to look like in a month or 2 months or 3 months. Yeah. I'm just saying you got to start thinking about the possibilities. I
mean, I think it's a real possibility. And if you're looking at states with NFL teams in California, Washington, and New Jersey / New York, the stadium's not in New York, but obviously the teams are named New York and they play right there in New Jersey. And whatever New York does, New Jersey's going to do. They have to.
Yeah, I would think so. And there's not a whole lot of colleges there necessarily, but along those same, opening decisions.
What happened?
Barron is camera shy. He's done resting.
There were questions for JVT. I think John's chilling tonight.
What does he have going on?
Do we want Ryan McKinnell to join us? Should I email him? You can give us feedback in the chat room.
Or should we take a poll?
No, how about just answer?
I mean, I feel like
for anyone watching right now, we're rolling on Twitter and we are rolling on YouTube. First Ryan comment. All right.
No. I mean, ordinarily I would say definitely no, but he did make just an asinine comment on Twitter that he probably should have to explain.
What was that?
He essentially said the biggest moment in sports history.
Oh God.
Is Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant.
Is there something going on today? Is it like the anniversary? I thought that was in March. What's going on?
FS1 is just replaying WrestleMania 3.
You know what? We talk about wrestling Twitter all the time, and unfortunately we follow way too many people. And like people I consider normal, I don't consider McKinnell normal, but people I consider normal who tweet about wrestling, and on these nights, I cannot take it.
No, especially comments like that. I'll get it right. He said, maybe next time, he said something along the lines of, no individual moment in any sport changed the sport and resonated like that moment. But like, that's what happens when you script things, right? Like you can set things up to have like a big moment happen, whenever you want it. Like Hulk Hogan could have slammed Andre the Giant at like a dark show at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. And it's nothing, but they scripted it to happen at WrestleMania. If you want to script the biggest moment like in baseball history to happen at a World Series, it'd be much easier to do that. I just don't think you can make those comparisons.
Did he? So what's the explanation of the biggest moment? Because what? It launched wrestling into like another stratosphere?
I guess. Dude, are you really asking me to justify the insane ramblings of Ryan McKinnell? Like, how would I explain that? I don't know. He said, him and other people are going at it now. Has there ever been a moment in a game, one single moment, a home run, a touchdown, a game winner, that meant more than Hogan's slam on Andre? It literally changed the business forever. One move. It's wild. I mean, it's asinine.
Well, do you have? I mean, I would argue. Did the Magic Bird game national championship change college basketball forever? That was sort of the game.
Not only college, Steve. NBA. It changed the sport, the game of basketball.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, but for college basketball, it turned it into a must-see event, the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just saying for a sport, I mean, how about Griffin Bonner?
That's a good point. It completely crushes WWE.
Of course.
Because if that fight doesn't work, what was the scenario with the UFC? There were 4 million in the hole. I'm sorry. They were 40 million in the hole. Before that television show went on, before that finale did well, they were just about done. They were $40 million into the hole or in the hole. And what are we looking at? Some 13 years later, they went from being 40 million down to 4.2 billion up.
Yeah. If you don't understand the story or know the story, UFC was just hemorrhaging money. They were losing money all over the place. They essentially went all in on The Ultimate Fighter, on making their own reality show, investing all this money to pay for it, buying the time on TV because nobody wanted to put them on TV. And they threw all their chips on the table and like, hopefully this reality show works. And it kind of worked. Not really, but kind of. And then they had the live finale on TV and ended up being one of the best fights ever, which it's not one of the best fights ever. But at the time when nobody really knew what was going on.
Yeah, for an audience new to the sport, the fact that it was just rock'em sock'em.
Yeah.
It was
great. And you watch the rating back, it's a historic moment in the sport, but you go back, like as the fight went on, more and more people were tuning on their TV and learning what this was. And they were like, this is insane. This is crazy. And it saved the sport from just going, not the sport, the organization, which now is kind of synonymous with the sport, but it stopped it from going out of business. Like that's insane. That's way bigger than Hulk Hogan slamming somebody.
I wonder if in terms of total impact, if Super Bowl III and Joe Namath, you could say financially had a bigger impact than anything in sports history. If that, launched the Super Bowl into, because before that, no one was really watching the Super Bowl because they didn't believe the AFC teams or the AFL teams could actually beat the NFC.
When you had a camera ready star in a major market like New York who went on and did that, and then even your mom was buying you like Joe Namath merchandise. Didn't she buy you like a fur coat?
Well, I always get the day on this confused. I'm pretty sure. No, I think I was on the way. I think I was like 34 weeks old
when the game happened.
I think. I got to look at the date again.
I can't believe they didn't name you Joseph.
Well, they went with every other boring name that they could find. So
yeah.
A Paul, a Greg, and a Steve.
It's almost like the Brady Bunch.
Yes. Thank you, Taz LV66. Who is that? Is that who are you? I feel like that could be Steven at work. I don't know why, but I feel like it could be. Does anyone have any suggestions on the chat of something bigger than a bigger single moment in sports history than Hogan and the Giant?
Anything? And there's so many things.
Well, you're not coming up on them real easily.
Because it's such a stupid thing. Like, yeah, they wrote into the script something to happen at a big moment. You can't do that. From
a social standpoint, Hogan and a Giant was definitely bigger than Jesse Owens beating Hitler. You're right. That's a good one.
So true.
Like stuff like that. Like these are big moments, but I don't think they changed the sport. Joe Carter hitting the walk-off against the Phillies.
Right, but how did Hulk Hogan's body slam change the sport? Wasn't it massive? It was at the Silverdome with like 90,000 people. Like, how did it change?
Do you want me to just invite him in?
No. Didn't the listeners vote already?
Yeah.
No?
You said no. Hold on.
It's such a nonsensical claim to make. He gets so emotional. He's watching this moment from 30 years ago or whatever it is. This is so funny. Dumb.
Listeners don't know we're often chatting between shows on text, and I was mentioning to you guys that I was watching Soul Man, which is an incredible movie. It's bizarre on so many fronts. It's C. Thomas Howell, sort of in blackface, but really the premise is that he needed to get a scholarship to Harvard Law, and the only scholarship available was for a black applicant in California. So he had some tanning pills, so he overdid it on the tanning pills, and now he's black.
Okay.
And it is.
He didn't intentionally try to get black?
No, he did. No, that was all. Yeah, it was the whole. But earlier he was getting all worked up about that. I told you when I looked up Soul Man and in the LA Times it said the Reagans loved it.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a little hitch to that though.
What's that?
Ronald Reagan Jr. was in the movie, like a cameo for 5 seconds.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
You know who else was in the movie?
Who?
A 25-year-old JLD. Julia
Really?
Louis. Yeah.
Wow. I might have to check it out.
And you never answered. Did the picture I sent you? You know that was Jan Levinson, right?
It really was her?
Yeah, it was really like the actress that plays Jan Levinson on The Office. She was C. Thomas Howell's wife that he was with because he was more interested in the African American chick in Ray Dawn Chong, Tommy Chong's daughter, and like Jan Levinson at whatever she was, like 20 something, is like a really hot piece of ass.
Okay,
like a good sex symbol, very solid.
I'll check that out. Did she sell candles?
No, I don't think that was part of the role back then.
Okay. I don't know. I'm actually watching the end of WrestleMania 3 right now.
Are you really? You're watching the moment? It was a cool moment. Yeah, it was a cool moment in terms of like, fake stuff.
Well, he tried to slam him, and then Andre the Giant falls on him.
Well, you realize the 80s wrestling, that was always the big thing, was like no one could slam the Giant. And then do you remember Big John Studd?
Of course, long hair, like mullet with a mustache.
Big John Studd had the challenge forever because he was like 6'10", he's supposedly 6'10".
Andre the Giant jumps up.
Of course, they all have to jump. You have to. I mean, in most cases, unless you're a little guy, unless it's Rey Mysterio, everyone's got to jump into a slam. You're not just going to dead weight pick up some guy who weighs 450 pounds.
But by the way, he just kind of lays him on the ground because he can't really slam him, and then he like jumps on him with his leg, and that's enough to just knock Andre the Giant out.
Yeah. Well,
what a dumb sport.
He did the leg drop. It hurt.
No, it doesn't.
He had the wind knocked out of him.
There's no way. There's zero chance that hurts.
Yeah. Ray, it was 1987. It was at the Silverdome, and there were 93,000 people there.
That's just so dumb.
Think about old sports. And what fans used to endure. Can you imagine going to the Silverdome and you're 93,000 people, and there's this postage stamp in the middle of the field? And it's not like when you go to Cowboy Stadium now, they've got this friggin' HD screen that is 60 yards long.
It's like the size of the stadium.
Imagine like you're there and there's like almost no screens to even watch the thing on. It's crazy what we used to pay money for, and we like.
First of all,
great experience.
I'll not stand for your Silverdome slander. It was a very updated, lovely arena.
Now this one. That comes close.
Changed the sport.
Yeah, the fact that he took down Kobayashi was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it changed the whole sport. But I still don't understand how that body slam changed the sport of wrestling. Like, that's the criteria you're using, but how did it change it? There's already 93,000 people there. Yeah, they're already Hogan fans.
I always felt like wrestling was kind of big already by 87.
It could be argued that was the peak. It changed it for the downside.
Hmm.
Did it get bigger after that? I don't think so.
I kind of faded on wrestling probably in the. This is embarrassing because I was like mid-20s at that point, probably by the mid-90s. I kind of liked WCW.
Okay, you're like a Sting guy.
It was great when they had the New World Order. You had Nash, and what's the drug addict's name? The Razor, whatever his name was.
Razor Ramon.
Scott Hall, yeah.
Okay, is Scott Hall the same as Razor Ramon?
By the way, Twitter on the chair.
Yes.
Also a big Ben Maller fan. I think that's the same guy. Yeah. What's more of a sport, competitive eating or wrestling? Professional wrestling.
Competitive eating, of course. It's a competition. It's an actual competition where people are trying to win.
Yep. It's not scripted. No one writes, hey, Kobayashi, at this point, after you've gobbled down 66 hot dogs in 12 minutes, we need a reversal.
Right. Or like you get way ahead and then slow down and let Chestnut pass you because it's good drama. It's actual competition.
Are you on the right? What's going on here? You're on the right stream?
Are we saying she's insane? Like her performance changed gymnastics?
Oh, okay.
Or are we just making a comment about her being insane?
She is pretty insane.
In a good way?
Yeah. I mean, I would cast her in the New Soul, man.
Okay.
As the love interest of, I don't know. I don't even know what young actor. I don't really know movie actors well enough, so I don't know. Some goof from Marvel or something would have to be the C. Thomas Howell now. Yes. Chaotic Sports. I'm on YouTube. No, it's not ESPN Las Vegas. It's my own page. I'll put the link in here real quick.
You have your own YouTube page?
Yeah, I've had it forever. That's where I used to put all the UFC videos.
Are you going to be like? Are you going to make enough money to buy the Tom Brady experience?
I hope. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Isn't that a YouTuber that did that?
I don't think I would buy the Tom Brady experience, but yeah. By the way, I don't think you read the story and you started like casting doubt on that when I brought it up on the air today, but it is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I've had it forever. That's where I used to put all the
double mics.
But
That's a pretty incredible story. The kind of money people are making on YouTube.
I'm sure it is. It's ridiculous.
But do you think it might be a rich kid who made some money and then he got the rest of his money?
I usually assume like kids that make it that big did not come from nothing.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I know we're somehow considering Kylie Jenner a self-made billionaire, but I don't really think that's the case.
Here we go. We were just we missed you. So we were talking about your stupid Twitter thread that's going on right now about Hogan and Giant being the biggest sports moment in history.
Yeah, that's not really what I said.
What'd you say?
Yeah. What you said was worse.
First of all, I want some credit for coming on this stream to talk pro wrestling with Adam Hill when we know that he's just gonna be Adam Hill when it comes to pro wrestling.
Yeah,
I feel like I have a little bit. I feel like I have a little bit of support with you, Steve. Like a little bit.
No, I was just talking about positive wrestling stuff and that it was a big event. What our question was, well, first of all, what'd you say?
That there may be no singular moment and I didn't say it as a definitive. There may be no singular moment in sports history, a single moment, one hit, one shot, one putt, one punch that changed a business and a landscape for 30, 40 years more than Hogan slamming Andre. But without
how did it change the business? There's 93,000 people there. Like, I think they had peaked.
Right. Well, it really, without that slam, keep in mind, Andre the Giant hadn't lost his entire career. So we're talking 15 years.
Do not give me win-loss records of wrestling.
Why, Adam?
That is
why, Adam? Because it's not real.
No, it's not.
Like Saving Private Ryan.
I don't usually curse on here, but that's fucking stupid. It's written who wins. It's ridiculous. Yeah, right. He hasn't lost because they haven't written him to lose.
Exactly, and that's the point. He was billed as this undefeatable, unconquerable, obviously giant, right? That, and keep in mind, during the business, it was like, that time in the business, it was like an 8-year-old with Santa Claus. Most people. I don't know about most people. I wasn't really alive. I was alive, but I wasn't a fan. Kayfabe was still real. There was still the illusion of Santa Claus. So the argument can be made that without that slam, without Andre the Giant agreeing to let the character Hulk Hogan slam him, because Andre, that was his money. Adam, 15 years of never losing, busting his ass, breaking his back, risking his neck, risking his future. He died young. He was going to die young anyway because of his condition, but he certainly didn't help himself by the hell that he went through to get there and the hell that was entailed to that 15 years. So when Hogan slammed Andre let him do that. He said, "Here you go, young man. Here's 15 years of my blood, sweat, and tears." And he gave it back.
The writers said that's what you're going to do.
And with that, Hogan became Hogan.
The writers said, "What do you mean Hogan became Hogan? He was headlining WrestleMania and 93,000 people."
I understand.
What are you talking about?
But Adam, would it have went the 10 to 15 years that it went on after that? Right?
Yes, if they decided to write it in, yes.
Hulk Hogan doesn't exist in the way that you and I know him without Andre the Giant essentially putting him over, which led
the writers put him over.
Right.
What are you talking about?
I don't know why I have to keep explaining this to you. Andre agreed to it. Andre didn't have to agree to that.
He had a contract.
Andre didn't have to agree to going out there and getting beaten.
He had a contract.
Did that for the business. He put his reputation on the line. He said, "I can be beaten for the business."
Oh my
and he
God.
knew it would be what's right for business. You people are the worst that you have something figured out that something the world doesn't know. Adam, we all know it's fake.
But you're talking about it like it's real. That's the problem.
You know what else was a predetermined I talk about it all the time. The Olympics, you watch a figure skating exhibition. It's 5 minutes, it's timed, it's judged on execution and style. You know what the outcome is inevitably going to be. It's an athletic dance. That's
you don't. Not if somebody falls. Then they don't win.
If someone falls in pro wrestling, you break your neck. If the story isn't clean, you have to go home to your partner.
What are you talking about?
You got to go talk.
You said skating is scripted.
I didn't protect.
Hold on. You
What?
said skating is scripted in the same way that wrestling is. No, it absolutely is not.
Okay, how so?
Like they're judged on how they perform, not on what the writers tell them is going to win. And yes, the skaters that skate a more difficult routine are most likely going to win if they skate flawlessly. But that's built into what the scoring is. It's not some writer saying you're going to do this and you're going to do this.
A pair of
you're acting like Goose put Maverick over because he's like, hey, this is good for the sport. No, the writer said you're going to die. That's what happens.
It still has to be performed and executed. So the public at large.
No, it doesn't, because if you don't, you just go on to the next move.
Right. We're judging, though.
Who is?
Execution. I want to see a clean match. That's what the business is elevated to. That's
who's going to win is going to win.
Right. Yeah. I guess we just look at it in different ways, right? I try to look at it a little more in depth. You think you're smarter than everybody else.
Yes.
So it's stupid.
Yes. If anybody thinks that the wrestler determines who wins by how they perform, they are stupid. Yes. That's 100% true. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Adam. And yes, the writers, and really it's not even the writers, it's one guy. When we talk about WWE, WWF, that's Vince McMahon. It's what he wants. And that can change on a whim. That can happen in the middle of a match. Matches can be changed like that. All from the call from Vince in the back telling them what they want. So yes, but the story still from an artistic standpoint needs to be told clean, and the cleaner the better. And with more swerves, the better. And if you can make me, an informed pro wrestling fan, whatever, right? Suspend disbelief for just 2 seconds and you've done your job.
Right, but what you're describing is a movie.
Yes, exactly.
That's
exactly what it is.
Yes, then put it in comparison. Then say it was one of the best acted shows of history. Okay, fine, whatever. Which I think is not true because I just watched it and it was a disaster. A total disaster. It was an awful slam. It wasn't even good. Andre the Giant clearly just jumped into it, so they didn't even act it well. So I don't even now. I really don't know where you're coming from.
Oh,
it's awful.
We're talking about what, 1985, 1986. So,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know, Chaotic Sports. I don't know. Somehow somebody's arguing that wrestling moments are like sports moments. They're not.
Yeah, no, listen, at that time, wrestling was a sport. It was called professional wrestling. The business wasn't exposed. And without Hulkamania, you don't get The Rock. You don't get the biggest action star in the history of the world.
Yes, you do, because then you write it in.
You don't get...
Here, Rock's, now here's The Rock. We're going to go hire him to come in.
You don't get the world of professional wrestling that we know today, and that's $1 billion industry. And a lot of people still look at it like a sport. You can't deny you're a fan of Ballers. Oh, Adam, your dear Ballers doesn't exist without Hogan slamming Andre.
First of all, that's not true. And second of all, I don't look at Ballers like they're actually determining football games. Like it's just not the case. It's a show, just like every other show. Wrestling is a show, not a sport. Yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right. The rest of the actors allowed J.R. Ewing to get over by coming back. Way to go, guys.
We're getting requests for new topics.
Yeah, I agree.
Can we switch to coronavirus? Sure. Yeah. Let's go.
I agree.
Hold on.
I just had a real problem with that awful tweet.
Back. I know how to save the show.
If he tries to steal my gimmick and bring his dog, I'm leaving.
What did he want? You want me to jump in? I'm not going to jump in. Let them go at it. It's great.
Your gimmick?
So trash.
Your gimmick, there's only one king of Cofield and Company, and he's sitting right here. Say hello, Polly. Say hello, Polly.
Bring him into the same show that I did the same thing.
Yes. That's because your dog sucks, Adam, and my dog rules. My dog would absolutely.
Are you ripping his face off right now?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Jesus
Get
Christ.
your stupid dog.
No, my dog's already on the show.
Say bye, Paul.
I'm not stealing gimmicks.
Yeah. Your whole life is a stolen gimmick.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. It's late. I'm sorry. Paulie's heavy.
It looked heavy. Like you're like pulling his face back too. It looked uncomfortable.
He's got a lot of extra skin.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know what's happening here, but okay.
I don't know either.
It's better than the last time we were all on the screen together.
Wait, hold on. It's 3 cats. 3 cats.
Yes, there's 3.
This is when they relax. They're laying down. They're chilling until the one goes out and starts killing stuff.
What does it kill?
It really doesn't kill anything. It's
Murder hornets?
it's killed a bird before.
Can we talk about the dangers of Steve's backyard and the hornets and wasps back there? I just found out last week. That's a scary place, Adam.
You're come on. Man.
I've never been scared there in my life except of not being able to breathe because the cats.
The wasp thing is a little alarming. The bees are everywhere. It's not a big deal.
It's kind of scary.
Is there murder hornets?
I don't know. It's kind of it's kind of big.
I feel like I'm not as scared as the murder hornets anymore after I saw them get ripped apart by the bees.
We're working on it, sports guy. We're actually up on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's a debut.
Yeah. All right. So I got a tweet I want to read you because Ryan, we tried not to go too heavy on the show today, and I'll ask the listeners: have you guys been following what's going on with baseball so far, with the owners starting to line up against the players? But here's John Heyman. John Heyman says MLB's position is that it will lose more money if they play the games without fans and pay prorated salaries than if they don't play at all, which, by the way, sounds very familiar because I followed the previous work issues and work stoppages, and they use the same bullshit lines. Heyman says, thus owners are saying they will not pay prorated salaries. And Adam, what was your reaction?
Season's over. That's it. If that's their stance and they're not budging, it's over. Not happening.
Can I claim White Sox World Series champions?
No.
Dibs?
First of all, if
Andre
we're
the Giant wins.
and I'm assuming you're going to be on the side of the players, you should never wear that hat, because that hat is pure evil when it comes
to the Reinsdorf hat.
These work negotiations and work stoppages. That scumbag he's the leader of the pack every time we have issues in baseball. Reinsdorf is
small market Reinsdorf.
He is the worst because he's anti-player. Think about it. He is so anti-player that he broke up the fucking Bulls to prove a point. Michael Jordan's not going to tell me what to do, and he's not going to tell Jabba the Bull, my buddy Jerry Krause, what to do. We're going to let him walk, and I got your back. He's the worst.
Crazy.
There you go. You just got shamed into taking that hat off. He really is. He's one of the worst. He's been a hawk for 40 years.
Yeah, no. I remember in the early 90s when he was threatening to move the team to Florida.
I forgot. That's right. He pulled that bullshit where Tampa Bay, oh, yeah, we'll build a stadium for Reinsdorf. And, and then he uses it to leverage his new stadium that sucks.
There's some irony there. I'll give you that. But it is disheartening to say the least. I don't want to say it's symptomatic or like the reason why baseball is where it's at, but maybe there is a little bit of that. Like, heaven forbid the owners don't make all of that money. What a stupid animal. What, Paulie? He's sleeping now. He doesn't want whatever.
We're gonna go
very worn out.
He's had a big day getting dragged around by the excess skin. But no, man, it's disheartening. You would think that at this time, and listen, I know Adam's putting a kibosh on the season, and it obviously doesn't look good. I don't disagree with Adam's sentiment and kind of the way he's going, but I would like to hope that given with everything that's going on, this is just the start, and we do get on the other end of this, and we get some baseball.
By the way, is it hilarious how he eats olives so well? Look at this guy.
Wow.
He loves them.
McKinnell, I don't know if you saw where we went for a couple of minutes on the end of the show or heard where we went at the end of the Cofield and Company today. One of the alarming things that I read, Jeff Passan had this. He writes for ESPN, and he said, one of the problems on the player side in terms of sticking together, and this is really the problem all the time with athletes when negotiations come up. But he was saying one of the problems is Major League Baseball players, a lot more of them live check to check than you'd believe. And I was like, what in the F? How is that possible? As I'm reading here, I think the Major League minimum last year was $563,000. Adam Will actually started to lecture me on how that's possible, that you could live check to check. You could be living check to check.
No.
Sure.
I mean, you could in theory. I mean, we all saw what?
You're an
30, 30 for 30 broke.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a case study in how not to be an idiot, but yet everyone still seemingly finds time and ways to be an idiot. I think yes, this is technically the highest weighted show in America right now, but I also think this might be like the cheapest show in America. So I don't know if this is like the best show to talk about in terms of like.
Oh, no. Hold on a second. First of all, Adam was saying it is possible that there could be a large number of Major League Baseball players who live check to check. And McKinnell, I think when you haven't been around, we've actually talked about your lifestyle and how maybe you're doing it the right way and we're not doing it the right way, that you live it up even when maybe you shouldn't be living it up. So you actually should be able to associate with players. Like Ryan, I will guarantee if you were making $563,000 a year, your budget would be living like right at that level.
Of course.
You would be on death's doorstep like 6 weeks out of work.
You believe way too much stuff I put in the text group. My life really isn't that crazy. I don't spend that much money, but you do make a solid point, Steve. You know me pretty well. I mean, for the first couple years of making 500, making 500K, I would definitely probably have a Ferrari and like live out of it and do a bunch of dumb shit. Like I would have a lot of shredded brick cheese and a lot of Pittsburgh style fillets. It would be, it would be problematic, but I feel like I would level off. I feel like I would reach a nice even point and, be good. Don't hate on people.
Yeah, Ryan. So Adam, explain to the audience watching right now how a Major League Baseball player, how a lot of them could be living check to check.
Well, I mean, I think we're all of a sudden saying like, oh, he's making at least $500,000 a year, and I was talking to him and he's gone, so it doesn't matter.
I already heard this.
Like, yeah, but we're talking about. I mean, everybody's talking about like players have been in the league for like, yeah, I'm very cheap. I don't spend money at all. Look at the Jordans I just bought. It's ridiculous. Dude,
I saw those the other day. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
No, these are new. These just came today. Oh, these are the new fives.
You bought more. I mean,
exactly.
Living it up, Steve. Living it up.
Exactly. There's a lot of baseball players that finally got called up to the major leagues in September and got exactly 2 major league checks, and then maybe said, you know what, I'm in the majors now. This is great. I'm buying a house.
We'll have to get Cody Decker on this one night. I will guarantee you that the majority of minor league players are not like, I've arrived. Now I'm going to live at a $563,000 level. They make nothing in the minors. There's hardly any of these who would be that idiotic where they're like, I've made it. Like you don't make it until you make it.
Right, but I'm not even saying made it. I'm saying, hey, look, I'm in the major leagues now. I'm going to buy a house. That's probably a very wise investment. And I think most people would say, hey, that is very smart of you. You go buy your house. That's a smart investment to make. And you've made
during a pandemic.
And I'm saying you got caught up in September. You finally made like your first 2 major league checks. This is great. I'm going to buy a house. This is perfect. Now all of a sudden you go into the off season. You're not getting paid. So you've spent all of your money already on the house payments for the last 4 or 5 months. All right, the season's starting again. This is cool. Now I'm going to be able to get these big checks again. And now I'm not making anything. So now I'm way behind on my mortgage because I bought a house because it was a smart investment and everybody told me that was a smart investment. And I've made exactly 2 major league checks, which might be at that point at a major league minimum, I don't know, 120,000, say, 60,000 to taxes and another 12 to your agent and another 6 to your manager. So now you've got, $20,000 and now your mortgage is behind. Like that's very possible.
I think you got a future at H&R Block if this radio and writing thing doesn't work out.
Right, but I mean, everybody's assuming that major league players, they're all making $20, $30, $40 million a year. Yeah, the Bryce Harper joke. That's good, but like that's not what most players are. Most players are major league minimum or somewhere in that area, and I think that's what people are talking about when they say some players are paycheck to paycheck and they wouldn't be able to get through something like this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kind of did. I mean, it's foreseeable, especially when you factor in the fact that Major League Baseball is trending younger because they don't want to pay those older veteran salaries, right? So they're kind of exploiting the system in some regard. So,
And also,
Adam does make a decent point.
Think about that guy in the situation that I was just describing, and think about the fact that some of you, I don't even want to use the word, some of you people out there are taking the side of owners who are billionaires. Billionaires. And you're like, I'd rather have them have the money than this person that I was just describing.
Yeah, those people
but
are the
go ahead.
worst.
Yeah, there has, and I say it on the show all the time, but I'll say it here too. There has never been a case where you, the average person, should be taking the side of owners over players. Ever. It should never happen. And it happens all the time.
It's like Stockholm syndrome or something. It's weird.
It's not even that. It's more, I think rich people are supposed to be rich. I think these guys that, came from nothing that are finally now rich should be grateful for what they have. That's what it is.
It's part of it. It's also most people can't connect with a guy who is a billionaire and they see someone playing baseball and they're like, I used to play baseball.
Yeah, that's true too.
I just didn't get the right breaks.
Exactly.
Lucky.
I would love to play baseball for a living. Well, you can't.
Yeah.
Go learn how to follow a script and pretend to body slam somebody.
I was just going to say, I just want to be a pro wrestler. You beat me to it, dick.
So we had a really good guest spot today with Andrea Kramer, who's been reporting for ESPN and CBS and now HBO forever. And we started talking about Scottie Pippen. And I just want to go back. What was one of the first things I talked about after episode 1 and 2? I asked the audience who was the heel in episodes 1 and 2, who was the least likable person in episodes 1 and 2. And my vote was for Scottie Pippen. And people are like, what? As compared to Jerry Krause?
Right.
Yes. And now look at how it's played out. He's getting bludgeoned these last 2 episodes. And all I can do is say, I told you so. I was around back then. And I don't get how his freaking reputation has somehow been cleaned. He looks terrible. And he was terrible. And like, Ryan, what was your reaction? What were you thinking when they did the whole Quentin Pippen thing, which again, I told everyone that story on the air. It wasn't like no one else knows about it, but I told you the story against the Knicks, the Quentin Pippen thing.
Yeah.
They asked him after they told the story. Well, not after they told the story, but they asked him for a comment now, 16 years later. Have that right? 26 years later. Right? Yeah. 26 years later. And he doubled down on it, which says all you need to know about Scottie Pippen as a character, in terms of his character.
Yeah. There's really not much you can say to that. I guess if you're a Scottie Pippen fan, the thing you would hold on to would be maybe he's saying he wouldn't change it because he likes the way his path in his life worked out. And maybe if he changes that, like if you take away
who's a Scottie Pippen fan?
If you take away the slam, I was Team Jordan, still am.
Who is it?
Take away the slam from Andre and Hogan, what do you have? But no, seriously, I knew about Krause. There was a lot I knew about this team. But you asked how could the rewriting of history take place, Steve? It's a generation of me's. I'm the be like Mike generation. Like that team could do no wrong. And if there was any wrong put on that team, it was Dennis Rodman later or Jerry Krause forever, right? What we're finding out now, because this has been a big debate just around the country, obviously, as these episodes air, is who has come out looking the worst out of this documentary. Is it Jordan, his tyrannical reign, and he's a prick and this and that? Is it Pippen? Is it Krause? Whatever. Is it Isaiah Thomas? It's Pippen because a lifelong Bulls fan like me didn't know the extent, and there's no other way you can frame Scottie Pippen and his attitude towards just about everything for being anything other than a pussy.
Yep.
Like it's
he's a drama queen, man. He's a drama queen.
I don't think Scott Burrell's coming off very well either.
Yeah, well, but he tried to take down the 98 team and the double three-peat. He almost ruined that. The Quentin Pippen stuff. We're seeing more and more. All he did was piss and moan about his pay. And listen, anyone who's watched or listened to us do radio over the years knows that I am 99.9% pro player. Make all the money you can.
Right.
But at some point with Scottie Pippen, it's like, bro, they told you not to sign the contract. Play or I've said this before. If you're going to hold out, then really hold out. Don't do it based on an injury. He's just, I don't know, man. I never thought Scottie Pippen was that good. I think it's completely ridiculous that People consider him the best, the best number 2 in history.
Yeah.
It's all on Jordan's coattails. He was a good player and a very good defensive player, but he's so overrated. And as a character guy, you could never have that guy lead your team. And I thought the moment, so to relive the moment, because I hadn't even thought of this, but Tony Kukoc, who's relatively new to the NBA, has a moment, for all time. At that point, I mean, the guy's a European player. He's in the NBA. He had some game winners during the season. Scottie Pippen ruined his fucking moment. And then they go in the locker room. They just saved the series. They were going to go 3-0. Well,
it could
be
argued.
And
it could be argued the second biggest moment in sports history.
and they go in, and no one celebrates Kukoc making the shot. Instead, Bill Cartwright starts crying. Thanks, Pip. And I'm telling
it's bad.
For all the Michael Jordan deserves, a lot of criticism for his demeanor and the way he treats people, but he has treated Scottie Pippen.
Thank you. I'm glad you got to that, because I was going to ask.
Pippen is so fucking lucky.
Yep. I was going to ask if we were going to get to that, because we haven't talked about that. My 2 takeaways, I know we disagree about this series humanizing Jordan. You guys don't think it does. I think it does. I think he's battling with his legacy and see him conflicted. It's all very interesting to me. But for as tyrannical and psychopathic as he was, and the Horace Grant not allowing to be eating meals after shitty games, that's in a pantheon of all-time psycho that it's like I had Robert Littall from BSO on the show earlier this week, and he basically said it with serial killer shit. Like, Jordan was like highly sociopathic, like a lot of great winners are, but the patience he showed for a guy that clearly went out of his way to kind of rub it in his face. Like, Jordan kind of made you. And you quit on him multiple times, put him in odd positions. Now, granted, the Quentin Pippen game, that's not exactly the situation, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, he's been incredibly patient, clearly, with Scottie Pippen throughout his career, which means he has it in him. I think we can agree that Jordan was way more patient than that you would have been, Steve, that Adam would, like any of us would have been. Like, if you had someone on
here's the one problem with that. How many rings does Jordan have without Pippen? 0.
Probably.
And I think he would get some lashback if he started going after him. I mean, I think there's plenty of material, but he never won without him.
One, he would have won without him. I don't know if
but he never did.
Right.
I think he would have. But 2, in defense of Pippen, there is a reason that Jordan is defending him and doesn't, roast him. He clearly appreciates what the guy did for him on the floor. So he values,
and he should. And he probably has a lot of skeletons. Pippen probably knows where a lot of bodies are buried.
I don't know about that. Come on, all these other guys, you don't think they can tell stories?
Maybe, but if you go after Pippen, Pippen's the kind of guy that would come out with it.
Good point, actually. He would snitch immediately.
He was to say he's a Sammy the Bull to Jordan's Gotti.
Right?
Oh, my God, no, Brady, come on, man. I think you're trolling with that question, but oh God, no.
Is he a top 50 player in the league today?
No.
I think he is. Yeah.
Wait,
I think he's
in the league? Yes. All time? No.
God, no.
Really?
No.
Adam thinks there's like 25 Scottie Pippens now.
I think there's like 25 Jordans. I think there's like 200 Pippens.
See, here's the thing with era stuff is that if they were playing today, just their competitive fire, Jordan wouldn't have waited 7 goddamn years or whatever it was to lift weights. He would have.
He also would have been a midget and small and weak compared to all the players now.
Oh God! Listen, I'm just saying, it's the way they approached the game was different. Training, nutrition's different, but the mentality, the fire, the desire. And listen, Jordan played with prime Shaq. He played with prime Iverson. He played with prime Kobe, 2003. And when he was with those Wizards, I mean, it wasn't great at the end, but he had 40-point games here and there. He had 30-point games there.
On how many shots?
Shooting percentages. It's not like he would have been completely obsolete. And just to Pippen's point, I think he probably would have been 40 to 50 in the league, averaging, 17 points a game and, whatever the assist and the rebound numbers were. But I think defensively, that heart and that desire and that lockdown mentality, for as much of a coward as he could show himself to be at different points, he was a tenacious player on the court, man.
He wouldn't even be in the game at the end.
Oh, well, he wasn't even in the game back then.
Exactly.
Poor Scotty.
How would he have held up to social media? He wouldn't have.
Well,
Yeah,
that's on that Kevin Durant tip, right?
Absolutely. Kobe's absolutely better than Jordan. But I mean, LeBron is so far and away better. And Kevin Durant is so far and away better.
100%. LeBron's the best basketball player I've ever seen.
Course.
But yeah.
Adam, I don't want to put this up because Adam might say yes. Don't say yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop,
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah.
You're just gonna say yeah to anything?
Any modern player, yeah, I would.
What I would have loved to have seen is a burner account like face off between Katie and Scotty if they were playing today. Like, who would have been the bigger, like, sensitive pussy? Like, that's what's always fascinated me about KD is he makes like $250 million a year and he spends his off time making burner accounts and like arguing with random people on Twitter when I'd be on a yacht in Barbados trying to like court Rihanna or something. Like, but Scotty's got that same mentality, just like obsessed with just I don't know. I think it's a lot of insecurity. What I find so interesting about Durant, though.
First of all, you don't think KD is using some of those burner accounts to slide into DMs? Come on, man. That's crazy.
But he's just he is though. He is just so incredibly sensitive. But at the same time, if LeBron James is the best basketball player I've ever seen, Kevin Durant is probably second. I mean, Jordan's right there. I don't know because the era thing gets it so murky, but you're talking about a 7-footer. It was once asked who had the most unguardable shot, or what was the most unguardable move in NBA history? Like, was it Hakeem's shimmy? Was it Kareem's, sky hook? Was it Jordan's fadeaway? And the answer was simple. It's every shot that Kevin Durant's ever taken, because who plays basketball like Kevin Durant? Like, we're just living in a crazy, stupid era, and that's what it's supposed to be. Jordan's supposed to inspire LeBron. LeBron's supposed to inspire some 10-year-old kid that we haven't even heard of today that's going to be 7'1" and can shoot from half court like Steph Curry. It's just the natural progression of sports, and it's awesome.
All right, I got a couple more topics before we get out of here. Adam, tell people what you saw today from was it officially Jack saying this on Twitter about
I think it was a story about Jack.
Yeah.
The fight?
But yeah.
No.
Huh? No.
Is this the fight?
No.
Oh.
Twitter has decided that their ability to work from home for their employees has been extended to forever.
Yep. All their employees can work from home.
Ever.
Yes. Which, when this was kind of starting, weren't we discussing this of what things that are happening are going to then become permanent, like new things about society? Like, I think a lot of business travel is done.
Yep.
Like, there's no reason. You can just as easily Zoom with so many more people than you can to travel.
Here's the thing. Be careful what you wish for.
I know. I actually saw some. You said this earlier, and then I saw some other people bringing this up tonight. So,
yep. Be careful.
Are we wishing for this?
Well, I already do it, so I don't have to wish for shit. I can honestly. I think it's going to get to a point outside of needing to be like in radio, outside of needing to be at locations to do shows and remotes. We can do shows from anywhere. We're kind of already in this realm, but I'll read you this tweet real quick. Guy said, a lot of mediocre people think they've got it good because they'll be able to work remote going forward. Don't realize it also means they'll be competing for jobs with people from everywhere, not just their town.
Yeah.
That's
you have to kind of live in the town. For us specifically doing local shows. I mean, I do a show with someone in Texas remotely, and I do a show with someone in Singapore remotely. We've done shows when you go on the road, Steve, obviously to UNLV, but they're all different shows. And if you're talking about us competing with other people around the country, I mean, they've got it.
He's more talking about people that have normal jobs.
Apologies.
In office now, it's like, hey, you have to live in LA,
right,
to work for this LA-based company. Well,
okay.
No, you don't.
I'll tell you what, if I liked it, I would love to live in Detroit and get my LA salary. That would be friggin' awesome.
But you know what they're really going to do in a situation like that is hire people in markets where they don't have to pay them, the going rate. They can pay them the rate from their town. You know that's what people are going to do.
That, and then I can't help but think about, the fear factor, Mark. which Mark is, kind of bringing up. There's going to be the fear factor of, well, be happy you have a job. And then, specifically, I think here in Vegas, and I bring this up a lot on my show, and I joke about it, but automation. I fear that the casinos are going to use this as a Trojan horse, kind of to usher in a new era, kind of under our noses, without really, not the ability for us to complain, the desire, the passion. I don't know, but there's no denying. You talk about business travel, you talk about working from home, for sure. Like we are entering uncharted territory, and for better or worse, we're not going to be the same when this all gets to what it's going to be. I don't want to say normal, but the new normal.
And I think even along the lines that you're saying of, hey, you're a company in LA, you're hiring for a position. You don't just have to hire people from LA. It can be from anywhere. And you don't have to bring people in. And here's another one. Let's say you are hiring somebody from LA. You're hiring somebody local. You tell them, hey, this is what our salary is. If their answer is, hey, to live in LA, you got to make a lot more than that. Like, nobody's telling you to live here. Go somewhere else. Live somewhere else.
Now they're going to flip it on people and be like, hey, sorry, we're not paying anyone New York money anymore.
Yeah. Live wherever you want. You don't have to be here.
So what do those cities then become? What do the LAs and New Yorks become? Do they just become real estate hedges for billionaires that just have empty apartment space that no one lives in because no one has any jobs? Like, what's this dystopian future that we're, kind of going back and forth on? Because I agree, what you're discussing is very possible. But what ramifications would that have on the major cities?
Well, it's another shift. Like there's been shifts all throughout history of, moving to cities and then moving out of cities. Now I think you're going to see a total shift of nobody's going to work in cities anymore, and cities can become a different thing. They can become, just areas like downtown Vegas. So, hey, it's a cool cultural space, but it's not a city where there's skyscrapers that are filled with offices anymore because they don't have to be.
Wow. Listen, I think that's very possible that happens. I can't imagine.
I feel like poor Ryan is high and he's just trying to figure all this out and process it right now.
No, buddy, I've been processing and figuring this out for a few decades, precisely because of that reason. Yes, I wanted some kudos because behind me, Brian recognized the New Jersey Nets pennant, and
I prefer the Bucks one.
The Bucks pennant is awesome. Come on,
it's amazing.
We'll say gender neutral buck, just kind of dancing with the basketball.
What happened to the UNLV or the swimsuit girl?
That is going to be an area that we change often.
Why? I like
smart
it. Because
change it out
with bookshelves, and I see people like I was watching Okamoto today, and it looked like he had changed up his bookshelf just a little bit. It was a little bit sparse. Like he had moved some things around, and
Are you going to submit your wall to rate my room?
I at some point I will. Yes,
it is my favorite Twitter follow right now.
Explain it to people.
Richard Marx is first of all. I don't know who Richard Marx is. I don't know who he was. I had no idea.
You know his hits. Steve, play a song. You know his hits. Play a song, Steve.
I'll punch one up. He's married to Fuentes, by the way.
So I didn't know who Richard Marx was, but he has become my favorite Twitter follow. It's kind of like,
better than Axl Rose?
Huh?
Better than Axl Rose?
Yeah, I think so.
You saw Axl Rose going after Mnuchin, right?
Oh yeah, it was great. We actually talked about all the happy hour. The issue, or not the issue, the thing that I find really refreshing about Richard Marx is he's just insane. Yep. And he doesn't stop. And he's just super vulgar and direct. And I like that.
And I like that.
Makes for a good Twitter follow. It's just odd what people have become, post social media as we get into this. Like Rex Chapman was like the guy you didn't used to pick on NBA Jam. What do we got?
This guy is now a militant.
Basically, Rage Against the Machine.
He is funny.
I thought you were going to play the rest of the song.
No.
Yeah, let it simmer. Ari would let it simmer.
Is this possible?
I don't care if people in Jacksonville are even on the face of the earth anymore.
Well, they probably won't be after the USC made a trip there. Multiple
It's just,
COVID tests.
it's just an awful place with awful people.
So why
It
is
really
it?
is. I mean, first of all, there's just nothing there. Which, I mean, I think we're judging it in a pandemic time, so it might not be fair. It's not an NFL city. I don't know how they have a team, and they're not going too soon.
I feel like it's like Indiana with a swamp.
What an insult from Noah. What an insult.
I used to know that guy.
It's a very impressive tweet. Wait, what? Look at this guy.
God.
Oh, the confrontation's about to
Very,
happen.
very, very smart move, Steve. Very smart move. I'm glad you have this on your own personal Twitter account.
What a puppet master Steve is.
So this dude in the
Play the
lower
strings.
corner shared a DM with me from Trey Gowdy, which I believe was the former senator from South Carolina. And in the note, it said, praising Trump for all the great things that have happened, that school shootings were down. And I had to inform Noah, the reason school shootings are down is because there's no school, Noah. And it was so stupid I had to block Noah. But I do actually like Noah.
Wait.
I see you for the first time.
Trey Gowdy was not actually taking credit for school shootings going down, was he?
I have the DM. Noah.
What's up?
I mean, I know how to get under your skin real quick, Ryan. It's just too easy.
It's very true, Noah. It's very true. That's why Adam Hill exists.
It's true.
Stick to sports. Yeah. Tell that to the president who showed up on a UFC broadcast in the prelim saying, let's get back to sports.
Well, he was right, wasn't he? They had sports.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve, would you stop it, dick?
No,
I see what you're doing.
Noah, what are your top thoughts on Last Dance?
I mean, it's been incredible. At least it's something we can watch that has some content that's giving people, something new that they haven't seen before. But I mean, at least people are tuning in, and people are seeing a lot of these generations didn't really live through, the '90s and see how it really was. I mean, I think Jordan's pulling a lot of the strings, and he's the puppet master of the whole thing. And he could put whatever he wants on there. So it's kind of, biased in a little bit, but I mean, at least it's something we can watch because we're dying over here just trying to see some new, without sports and everybody's waiting for Sunday.
No, we're dying. How many rounds of golf have you played the last 2 months?
Hey, ask your boy Sam, man, because he's running out of money.
You guys are in the course you play like 36 holes a day.
Hey, what else is there to do out here? I mean, if I'm not with my kids, I'm gonna be on the golf course.
But you're acting like, we're deteriorating as a society. You're on the course like 12 hours a day. You're doing fine.
Wait,
I'm trying to keep my tan.
You go
Oh,
like 36 holes a day.
that explains so much. Sorry.
Every golfer is what?
Golfing culture sucks, and it attracts a certain type of folk. I don't know. No, I'm kind of surprised. I expect more from a New York Knicks fan.
When you do that, and golfers drive me nuts too, but everyone who golfs is not some elitist asshole who comes from a background.
That's true.
Most.
No, you can't lump us all in there like that, Ryan. Come on.
You're a spy. You're trying to change the culture from the inside, right, Noah?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm more of a hooper, but now that I'm at the age where it just hurts too much, I'd rather golf. And I can afford it. I don't mind being out there, getting 4 or 5 hours away while social distancing just for you.
Hey.
So hey, to me, as long as the government keeps it open,
I can't golf because it hurts after I golf. So that tells you what type of shape I'm in. But I grew up playing it. I don't mind it. There's something to be said for being out in nature and breathing fresh air and taking your time. But no, I do stand by the culture of it. And there's a lot of things I don't like about it. But when you have some good friends and some good times and the sun's shining, golf can be all right, I guess.
Is golfing going out in nature?
I'm really a hooper. Okay, they know that I'm, that's really my passion. But right now nobody's playing ball. Even the gyms are closed. The only way you can play is at these middle schools where people are sneaking on, but that's another topic. So for now, it's going to have to be gone for nothing.
He's a good point guard. I'll give him that.
Yeah. What do you say?
His point guard play is better than his political opinions.
Well, that's a low freaking bar.
How did he become a point guard?
Oh, he's good.
Hey, I've been one. Ask Adam. 15 assists in one game or something. To you, just to you, and we still lost.
It's true. It's very fair.
Adam didn't play much defense or rebound.
And he couldn't hit the front end of a 1-on-1.
Oh my God! I can't believe you remember that. I did.
It should
at
be
the free throw line. Yeah, choked at the free throw line.
We didn't win one game that season. That was our best chance. Of course, I remember.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
So Ryan, this is a little kumbaya with a listener and a follower. Get your phone right now.
Unblock.
And unblock him.
No.
Come on, mute him. You can mute him. He won't even know.
No, I need some time.
He can't even handle him. He's too sensitive.
I expected more from Noah. He likes my hip hop tweets. Like, I feel like we have a lot of common interests, but it's a level of trolling and stupidity that I just can't deal with right now, Steve.
Ryan Snowflake.
Emotions. You're from the South Side, right? Is that why? Is it from the South Side?
From Northwest Indiana, a much scarier place than the South Side of Chicago. But it's your country. It's MAGA country, Noah. You love it there. So many racist white people, so many stupid hillbillies. You could golf until your heart is content. You would have so much fun in Northwest Indiana. It's basically built for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Brady.
He is a snowflake. Although we also have to consider somebody walked out of a press conference yesterday, so I think they're a snowflake also. Ryan and the head snowflake of the country are both very similar to each other.
Whoa. I'm easy to trigger, Adam. Let's woo-saw that shit right now.
Yeah. You have a lot in common with your president.
All right. Does anyone on this thread know who Tekashi 6ix9ine is?
Of course.
Yeah.
I barely
got a love the guy.
Explain this one to me.
He's a snitch.
Explain this one to me, Adam. He tried to donate $200,000 to No Kid Hungry.
No. Please tell me they turned it down.
And they declined it. They said, as a child-focused campaign, it's our policy to decline funding from donors whose activities don't align with our missions and values. What do they mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you'd rather be having sex with kids than feeding them, they don't want your money.
Wait, what's that all about?
That's what he's going to jail for.
Oh, I didn't know that. Right?
Wasn't he moving bricks of heroin too? And wasn't he involved in some shootings and also being a snitch?
All that stuff.
Yeah.
There was definitely some underage activity. So I imagine that a kid's charity would be like, nah, bro, we don't want your money.
Also, all gangsters give out turkeys on Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like, it's a clear PR ploy. Like, it's a PR ploy as old as gangsterdom has existed. You go back to pre-prohibition. People have been doing shit like this forever. I don't buy it.
Steve, are you a big Tekashi fan?
I don't really know a whole lot about him. I remember, what's the show he goes on? Did he go on Charlemagne the God?
Yeah, he went on Breakfast Club. It was quite an interview.
He was just a complete asswipe.
Although there's now some new history with that show and Tekashi. Did you get to see that?
No. Oh yeah.
Charlemagne said no chance Tekashi ever gets out of jail. And if he does, he'll perform a sex act on him. And now he's out.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Did you see the girl that exposed him on IG Live and he had to move houses at him?
No.
Yeah, he was out on his porch shooting one of those videos. He was doing his IG Live, and the suburban chick is like, "Oh my God, Tekashi's in the room beside." So she exposed the house. They had to fill it with cops, and they had to relocate him. That dude is getting shot. Like, there is no way he lives past 2022. He's got the Bloods after him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah, no, I'm going to stay off the Bloods radar. I'm going to try to. I'm on enough radars.
All right, what else?
I don't even think Trump can save him.
What else is going on with you, Noah?
Oh, that's it. That's all I've been doing. Just trying to stay in shape, watching my kids. I mean, golfing as much as I can. I think I'm playing with Okamoto Thursday.
Wow.
You know, got a big money.
Life.
Yeah, you know, I'm throwing all the names out I can, but you know, we just try to have fun, try to pass the time, and you know, it's gonna get real hot soon. So we're trying to take advantage because we missed a whole month when Sisolak shut down. It was one of the 14 states that shut down golf courses, and all the money out of the economy
we missed the whole month.
It's so terrible. No golf for Noah.
What is he doing? You know how many people in Vegas went to Arizona and Utah to golf? So our money went over there because Sisolak took more people's jobs out and had to go try to collect unemployment.
Exactly. Tell these eternal lockdowners to shut the hell up.
Oh no, ridiculous.
Move to California. You can go to LA County. You can be locked down until August.
Hey Steve, you and I went out for Korean barbecue way too late into the pandemic. So stop acting like we're some eternal lockdowners. We're very, very dumb. I don't know if we're as dumb as Noah, but we're pretty dumb. And I unblocked you, Noah.
Yeah.
What's the over-under on when he blocked me again by July 4th?
Anyone.
Tomorrow.
It was very rare.
Don't do it.
I don't block people.
You know, I felt like I won once you blocked me, right? I won.
Of course.
I already won. I can't lose.
Yeah.
Can't lose.
Sending messages about how school shootings have declined during the pandemic because there's not school to have shooting.
It got me.
Are you saying you want school
right
shootings? Yeah, are you saying you want school shootings, Ryan?
Sounds like it.
I hate every single person that I'm looking at right now. I hate all of you so much.
Right. Noah, thanks for jumping on, dude. Be well.
I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Y'all been
bro.
easy.
Good seeing you, Noah.
Wow. Imagine if someone else controlled this stream, how many people we could let on that would annoy me too. So good thing I control things. No,
I just want everybody to take note. Everybody take note that he said he had 15 assists in a game just to me.
Is Noah the slim
That means
ruler
15
of the Vegas like golf games? Like, who's he golfing with? Is he just like hustling everybody out of their cash?
Sandman, Okamoto, John Murray. Yeah, he like ties everyone together.
who's actually good in that group?
He is good. He's what?
I have to imagine that Murray's pretty good. I mean, he's a kind of a country club kid.
Yeah.
From Northern Virginia.
Is he really?
Like Sandman can't be good. Okamoto's got to be good.
I don't remember. I think I played with Okamoto in the past. I did play with Okamoto in the past. He's solid. Not like I don't know that any of them are better than like max like mid 80s.
Look at the hair.
I think he might be playing better than that now.
Really?
They're all playing every day, like 2 rounds a day.
God help me if I run out of hobbies to where I'm golfing all that time. I mean, it's okay. Don't get me wrong. Here and there, but
what are your hobbies? We'll close on what your hobbies are.
Oh man, talking shit, eating, sleeping,
rolling giant joints.
Pretty much.
Taking pictures of his awful food for Twitter. Eating
butter.
Watch your tongue when it comes to my cooking skills. I'm a very good chef.
We've heard the reviews from you.
I've been killing it during quarantine. Hey, I gave you the hibachi grill hook. Like, Adam, come on. Give me some credit. When it comes to
food, that wasn't you cooking.
Yeah, but I know what tastes good. And when I make it in my house, I want it to taste good.
That too. Yep.
Judging Twitter. Yep, that.
That's what I've been doing.
Video games. I bought a guitar. I played guitar for 15 years.
Please don't.
All right, everybody. We'll see you. Goodbye.
Bought a guitar during the pandemic, so that was sweet.
I mean, how many texts have we got complaining about money during the pandemic? This guy's buying steaks and guitars.
No. I was just playing into that. I'm rich, man. Yeah, no, I'm way good.
See?
Yeah, no. I don't even need this job. I've got equity. I've got houses in countries you don't even know about. It's all good. I got stashes of Jordans, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Moment of honesty. Did anyone here get a stimulus check?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oops.
Yep. I just got mine. It took a while because the last 2 years I didn't have a return. So I wasn't on direct deposit. So I had to call the IRS and file whatever with them, or like let them know what the account was. So it took a little while, but it got there a couple months ago. And then yeah.
I think the deadline is today, isn't it? Like for direct deposit?
Is it?
Yeah.
I heard they were talking about rolling out another stimulus bill. Adam, you guys hear about that?
They're talking about it.
Yeah.
I didn't go and get the first one, so I guess I'm not going to get the second one.
More
What
Jordan.
do you mean you didn't go and get it?
I don't know. How do you go get it?
They send it to you if you qualify.
50?
No, there's nothing to be done. If you qualify, they send it.
I never got one.
That means you make way too much money.
I don't know about that.
That's what it means.
That might
Either
be-
you got it or you make too much.
I want that money taken off my goddamn tax bill for 2019, you pricks.
You might have told on yourself, Steve. You might be the real
Yeah.
royalty hour here on Cofield and Company.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's clearly what it is.
I gotta crunch the numbers in my head.
I can't do nothing.
If you didn't get it, then we know. That's all. There's only two options.
Well, Big Mac just disappeared. Spinning. All right. 'Cause actually, if I get it, I was actually thinking of giving it away.
Well, I mean, did you get a tax return last year?
Yeah, of course.
Direct deposit or a check?
Well, I thought it was
What do you mean? Yeah, of course. How did you get a return and I had to pay?
Oh, did I get money back?
Yeah.
You're a moron if you're not getting money back.
No, not only did I get money back, I had to pay like $1,000.
Well, Ryan, you're obviously if you have them take out more from your check during the year, then you shouldn't owe. You need to make that adjustment.
We're a show of idiots. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
We're idiots. I'm just telling you that you can ask Lotus and you can ask SiriusXM to take out more money so you never owe at the end of the year. And you'll probably never notice the money's out during the year.
Right, because I'm rich.
Exactly.
Well, no,
What about
I'm
that
saying
guitar?
it. I was making a statement. I wasn't implying anything. It was fact.
Raider Chad, where do I check? What's the guy? I'll check right now.
Oh, this is great.
What is it?
Live
IRA?
on the air. I think you just
Bring up the window where you put your social and your password.
Yeah.
And all that.
What do you I think it's gone. I think the deadline's passed. Let's see.
There's no deadline. They send it to you or they don't.
Man. 3 minutes till midnight.
I don't see anything up.
I'm trying to Google it right now to find out.
Get coronavirus tax relief. That's not it.
Mm.
By the
See
way,
if you're
why are we
eligible.
doing this on the stream? Shouldn't I just do this on my own?
No, you brought it up on the stream. You have to keep doing it.
I don't know where to go.
I mean, all you have to do is Google. I'll send you a link right now.
Is it, type in
Is it-
stimulus.
Should I email it to you? I can send you the link right now.
Send it to me. I'm
All
in.
right. I just
All
did.
right, we're gonna end this because we're good. We're past an hour and 20 minutes. But if
Doesn't
I
matter.
do,
I think people want to know the result of this.
The viewership is skyrocketing.
Yeah, people are trying to find out. I just sent you a link, so you just click on it.
where'd you send it to?
The LVW.
Okay.
I'm not. Be careful not to give out your email address on the air. I don't want people spamming you.
Well, Noah has it now. I invited him in.
That's
Don't-
true. That's bad.
Don't you put your cell phone on review journal articles?
Oh yeah.
That's smart.
What do I care? Doesn't matter. I don't care.
You live
Call
an
me.
odd life, Adam Hill.
Call me. What does it matter?
Too lazy.
You just don't want to find out.
Get his deposit money. You can get it on the next round, Steve. You can get it on the next round.
Get it. Okay. There is not going to be a next round. They're going to shut that off. Trust me.
Wouldn't matter to Ryan. Just one less guitar to buy.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We appreciate you sticking around for so long. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for listening to Adam yell at you about wrestling.
It's okay.
It was like 2 hours ago.
Punishment. Great move with Noah, by the way. That